mental health, and we was talking about this a little bit offline. We know with Rondell Moore, um, if people don't know, he took his own life, just recently, and I know we talked about this, before a little bit on maybe last year sometime we touched on it a little bit, but mental health. And Lee, I'm going to let you, I want you to jump in on this, but I before you go, I just want to share something real quick. When we talk about mental health and we talk about sports, this is you there's so many factors that's built into this. You got to look at also childhood, children's sports. You got to look at as they grow into adolescence, as they, looking at scholarships in college, and they playing for college coaches, and then, eventually the pros. That mental health starts from the beginning. There's also factors where I think in the home there's a lot of pressures. There's a lot of these guys that their whole families are counting on them, right? To try and, they've been hearing it their whole life. Oh man, you could make it. And the amount of pressure that uh, that these athletes feel when it's like it's riding on you. It's riding on you. And the reason why I say this, and mental health is so important, is because even with my daughter playing volleyball in college, right, and going through, I could see it. It's so cutthroat in every, and what coaches are doing every year, they are looking to get better every year. New players are coming in every year, and you got to reprove yourself over and over and over again, at all of these different levels, and it's a lot of pressure, and you got to try and stay sharp, and you got to, and Lee, I know we talked about this clip. I want you to talk about that clip with Rondell Moore, but I just wanted to say this goes, man. It's so important. This goes back. If you don't have a healthy system, and I don't know many parents that are well versed in this, because you just go as you go, um, and in any sport. It doesn't matter what it is. Lee, I know your daughter played, did gymnastics and whatever it is. It don't matter what it is. There's pressures that are on athletes that they don't speak about, or the parents have pressure on them to be the best, or whatever, or this and that, and it gets there, and one mistake, two mistakes, three mistakes, the coach get on you. You on the bench. That you're not playing. You're not getting paid. Man, it is a lot. And to think about that, and what he was going through. And so yeah, man. Anyway, just I know you wanted to touch on that real quick with Rondell Moore, man.
Yeah, yeah, you touched on a lot, man. And I'm gonna go off on a tangent here. You brought up, with my daughter. Yeah, she was a competing gymnast. She started at 7, did it all the way up until I think about 14, 15, right? And I remember when she started it. I mean, she was gung ho, right? It was something that she loved. She had a real passion for it. She talked about it day in and day out. And then it got to a point where she just didn't want to do it anymore. Not because she lost love for it, but like you said, the pressure. She said she doesn't want to compete. She still loves gymnastics, but the way she said the coaches were talking to her, kind of beating her down, her self esteem was starting to go down. I was seeing it also in her day to day life. She's like, I don't want to do this anymore. And we had invested a lot, right, up until that point, and she was good. She was winning. She was competing. She was winning medals. We saw a potential scholarship opportunity, with her in it as well. But the minute she told me that she felt her self esteem started to go down, and her self worth, she was questioning it. I was like, get out. No second thoughts.
Yeah.
And it's like that for all, like athletes, especially when you're talking about like kids, high school, like middle school, high school. Like there's a lot of pressure in all sports. What I think makes football a little bit different is that you got to take into consideration the physicality, right, and the impact. that they're taking on a play by play, game by game basis. And we're talking about head traumas, right? Concussions and the hits, the body aches, the chronic pain that starts to develop, all of that other stuff starts to compound along with the emotional toll that's being taken on, being able to compete. So if you have someone and you have people who are just predisposed to being depressed as well.
Mm.
Okay. Just athleticism and competition aside, they're just kind of predisposed to that. So you got all of these different nuances and situations that can create a psychosis where someone feels like it's not worth it anymore. Mind you, we're less than 16 weeks away from Marshawn Nealon killing himself.
Yeah.
Well, like taking,
Yeah.
doing
Yeah.
what he did. And now here we are with this situation with Rondale Moore. And I don't recall a time when something like that has happened in with just in close proximity, right? From a timeline perspective, right? And I think now the NFL, they really, really need to, and not that they haven't been trying to key in on this. I know they've been doing, preventative measures and making rule changes, trying to make the game safer and all these other different things. But I think they need to start putting in some proper protocols where you are mandating some sort of therapy, therapy session, therapy, you know, institutions within the teams themselves, where player by player, everyone is mandated to have at least one or a few sessions during the course of the season with a therapist just to have someone to talk to and key in on their mental health. Because if you leave it to them, that they're not going to do it themselves. Okay.
Right.
So, and you can layer in, concussions. Like if someone has had several concussions, maybe ramp up the sessions, but they have to do something different, and they have to put in better practices to try to help save these athletes from themselves. Now,
Yeah.
going on to the Rondale Moore thing, Rondale Moore was a heck of an athlete. He was highly touted out of Purdue, and he had a couple of, he had 2 seasons, I think, in a row where season-ending injuries,
Yeah.
and that by itself could take its toll. Okay, we don't know about him having any sort of concussion issues, but we still don't know how many undocumented concussions are being taken place within the NFL, and not just the NFL. These guys are, taking head-on collisions from Pee Wee football.
That's
From
right.
the minute they put on a helmet, they're smashing heads, and I guarantee you, no one's checking the kids to see if they're, how many concussions they might have exhibited, right? They get into high school. I'm pretty sure, head-on collisions that's happening there. By the time you get to the NFL, you could already be damaged up there, man. So
Mhm.
yeah, I would like to see the NFL take more preventative measures on the therapy side, mandate therapy sessions, make it part of the protocol. You could a round robin approach. A set of players, week to week has to go in and talk to someone during the course of the season, and then also if there's some sort of concussion history with that particular player, ramp up those sessions just to make
Yeah.
sure that they're okay.
Yeah. 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 That's
So, and this isn't even coming from like the Vikings perspective. This is from a football fan perspective. Like this late 2025 and 2026 has me asking more questions. I don't have the answers, right? I just realized that the questions are deeper and more profound than I think I was given credit for. Because in these two circumstances, Nealand and now Moore, one guy 3 4 days before seemed to have the highest of the highs, right? Turnover, defensive player scores a touchdown, right? Like
Right.
to everybody else, seemingly can't get any better than that, right? 3 days later takes his own life, right? And then this guy, Moore, you know, bounce from team to team, 2 injuries in a row, missed 2 seasons, right? And then in the off season after the second year, like what what happened? What was the trigger? What was the tip? Because the tip wasn't the first one, and the tip wasn't. And it's like
Right.
I don't know, right? Like I can't explain it, right? One person should have you would think would be in such a high they wouldn't do something, and the other person's been dealing with this thing for so long. What? Yeah. So I think there's a lot we don't understand about again the head injuries. We don't understand about the increased pressures, not just the salaries and what happens if you're not playing, what happens with online gambling and bookies and other people trying to influence stuff, what happens with social media where something goes right or something goes wrong and folks criticizing you, you have a bad game, folks telling you to go do stuff.
Yeah.
You have a good game and people still trying to keep you in check, right? There's a lot of stuff that's just changed outside of just the physicality of football. But for whatever reason, and I don't know if this just seems to be outliers. I hope this is going to sound weird. I don't mean it in a bad way. I'm hoping it's outliers that we're not going to see more of these mid 20s individuals contemplating taking their life. Like it
Mm.
seemed to be enough of an issue when the folks who were retired in their 40s and 50s were contemplating. But this is now not just folks retiring from football early because they don't know what the effects are, but folks, taking their own lives way too
Yeah.
early, right?
Yeah.
And so I love the sport. I watched the sport, uh, played it a little bit in college, wasn't very good at it. But the hits are real, you know? And there's stuff that they're doing, the NFL's doing that's seemingly trying to protect players. But as Levon alluded to, there's really more that could be done just from a hey, how are you doing? How are you feeling? It's okay. That's just we'll talk about how they should have the sports psychologist and helping them maximize their potential and focus in for the big event. But just from a how are you doing, like where you at, like hey, no, be real, like how you doing. A
Hmm.
lot more that needs to be done.
And you, if you put these therapists on staff, right, and you make it part of the protocol, not to say, I mean, I don't know if they're actually doing this or not. They might be, and I might be just talking out of out of turn. But if they aren't, they should do it, and it should be something where it's an extension of the coach as well, where not that they are disseminating personal conversations, which you shouldn't be doing that, but they should be able to at least alert the coach and the team, say, hey, this person might be at risk, or this
Hmm.
person, I, we think that this person needs extra help,
Yeah.
something along those lines, right? Um, and I know that's a slippery slope as well. You got your favorite player, and your player, he's playing good, and you don't, as a fan, you don't know, you don't see anything on the field that would show that there's something wrong. Then all of a sudden he's out. Why is he out? Right? Let's be at like that. That's crazy. Why are you gonna not let him play? Because now what? Some sort of some therapist said that this person is showing signs of, maybe hurting himself and he needs some extra time away from the game. And so I know it's a slippery slope, but I don't know what else to do, right? I couldn't,
Yeah.
like, I would need more time to really think about it. But this is what the NFL should be doing. They should have someone round the clock trying to come up with solution after solutions to mitigate this stuff, because whatever they're doing right now, it's not enough.
Right.
It's not enough because, as Doc said, these situations 20, 30 years ago, the player was retired, wasn't, and then it was after so many years of playing in the NFL where whatever those effects were, that manifested and they did what they did. But now, I mean, he was 25.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah.
25. That's too young.
Yeah.
Nealon, I
Yeah.
think Nealon was younger,
Yeah.
You're
He was
right.
in
right?
the early 20s. Yeah. 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 It's and you guys mentioned something too. You talk about social media. I couldn't be on social media. I couldn't be an athlete and be on social
I
media.
wouldn't do
No
it.
way.
I wouldn't
Couldn't
do
do
it.
it. I would delete all social. I wouldn't even sign up for social media. I won't even know what's going on. Because you cannot. I don't know how these guys do it. Because from day to day, and then even the radio stations talking about you, everybody talking about you, and TV, ESPN, and all of these people just they throwing all this stuff against you. Like you say, you have a bad game or you doing something or whatever it is, and I don't know how they handle it. And just that alone, you need a therapist. You need to go talk to
Yeah.
somebody. That alone, if you look on social media, you pick up your phone and you see the amount of people that's talking about you as an individual. I don't know how they do it, man.
The-
But this generation, they grew up on it.
Yep.
They grew up
Yeah,
on social
that's
media.
true. Yeah.
This is all they know. And
Whew.
this is how
Well,
they
that's tough.
connect. This is how they communicate. This is how they socialize, literally. So they
Wow.
don't know anything else.
That is true.
Yeah, I'm the oldest of the group. I am of the generation that didn't have this growing up. So it's easy to turn off because I lived most of my life without having the ability to do it because this didn't exist.
Right.
You'll hear like psychologists talking about just the human condition, right? And like we're social, but we tend to be in these groups of like 300 to 500. That's why if you meet too many people, you start to forget other people's names. And when groups get too big, they would kind of break off and start their own tribe, right.
Hmm.
So when you did something bad, like you messed up, 300 people, 500 people were upset at you. Right now,
Right.
you're now playing high school football in Texas, 5,000 people at the game. Then you flub the punt in college, 90,000 people yelling at you. You suck, right? You mess up in an NFL game, 3 million people, 10 million people, 20 million people watching. But now with social media, you got 2
Millions.
million people disliking
Yeah.
you, right?
Yeah.
120,000 comments, and very few of them are going to be positive, right?
Right.
And
Right.
yes, there are folks who are able to deal with it. But for folks who may be impulsive anger or impulsive introspective, that ain't healthy,
Yeah.
right? And that is unnatural / artificial because it just never could happen outside of
That's
social media,
that's right.
right? Back in the day, be like, hey, just don't watch TV and don't turn on the radio for a few days. This come hang on with me for a couple of days. But now it's like bing, bing,
Can't
bing,
hide.
bing, 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 bing on
Yep.
your phone,
Yep.
right? So
Yeah.
just one more
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely. All right. So let me change the tide a little bit. Um, I recently saw in the news in Atlanta that Kirk Cousins come I think it's day one of the league or something like that, um, where Kirk Cousins is going to be released from the Atlanta Falcons, and he's going to be available. So, Doc, the question I have for you is Kirk Cousins coming back to the Vikings, or does he stay in Atlanta? Does Atlanta do they does how is it going to work out for him? Are they going to cut him because of the contract? Get rid of that dead cap, and then re-sign him lower as a backup, or is he done in Atlanta? And Doc, you're a Vikings fan. Would you welcome Kirk Cousins back?
Why you can do this to me, buddy? Really? Um, it's amazing how a year makes you change perspective. Here is what I would say. When we had Kirk Cousins before, I did not think that Kirk Cousins would be able to lead us to the promised land. And if Kirk Cousins was to come back 3 years older, I don't think Kirk Cousins would be able to lead us to the promised land. But based upon our current quarterback situation, he'd be an upgrade.
Hmm.
You know what you're going to get. You're going to get a dependable quarterback. He'll stand there, take the hits. Justin Jefferson will go for 1,000 yards at least. I think it would give JJ McCarthy time to hopefully have the game slowed down a little bit more, because I think talent-wise, JJ McCarthy is a better talent than Kirk Cousins, even Kirk Cousins in his prime. And that's not saying Kirk Cousins wasn't a good quarterback. I think JJ just has a lot more physical talent. But I think there's also this issue with the Vikings that I love as an organization. They're just dysfunctional enough that we still want a quarterback to lead us to a Super Bowl versus be a piece of that Super Bowl winning formula, right? It's why Sam Darnold was in the Viking last year, because what he did in those games were like, hey, he can't win us the big game, so let's just keep on shuffling until we find a quarterback who'll win us the big game and take us to the promised land, right? Thank you, Moses, for your service, but you can't get us in, right? So, and you see what happened in Seattle. He was a big piece, but he wasn't the linchpin. It wasn't
Right.
carry us. It was, hey, we need you for these games, and other folks can do other things, other games, and if they'll let us run the ball all day long in the Super Bowl, we'll just run the ball all day long in the Super Bowl, right? And so yeah, with humility and grace, just understand the situation. Hey, if Cousins is available, and that is the best we could do, then that's the best we can do, because I think he would be an upgrade over JJ McCarthy starting into the season. Now, if JJ has a great offseason, then we got the sage veteran to help him on the sidelines as Cousins is carrying the clipboard. But you at least know we should go 10-7 with the Kirk Cousins, right?
Yep.
I don't think we're going to go deep into the playoffs, but
Yeah.
So
10-7 gets you into the playoffs now.
10-7 might get you in the playoffs,
Right.
because of that NFC West. It's going to be
Yep.
hard because
Yep.
of the NFC West. You got one wild card floating between the East, the South,
Right.
and the North, right?
Yeah, we take it all up.
Yep.
Take it all up over there.
So that's
Yep.
that's the thing. Like, you need to, if you are not in the NFC West, you need to win your division
Mhm.
if you want to dance. So
I wonder if the Vikings organization, if they still believe in JJ McCarthy. That's the question I would have for them. I still think he has potential. Hasn't looked good. He started to look a little bit better down the stretch, but there's still much more to be desired there.
Yep.
I wonder if they might, if the opportunity from a financial standpoint presents itself, if they would take a flyer on Malik Willis.
Mm. Malik
my-
Willis.
no, I like Malik Willis. I like his skill set. I like what happened with him when he left Tennessee and went to Green Bay.
Yeah.
Green Bay raves about him,
Mhm.
right? My worry with a Malik Willis coming to Minnesota, and like, I think it's slightly changed, but O'Connell was calling a very Sean McVay like quarterback centric offensive system. And folks would do well for a few weeks, and then like, oh yeah, it's too, you need the Aaron Rodgers, the Matthew Stafford, you need the Joe Burrow, you need that kind of quarterback to make that offense go the way they envision it. Cousins was close.
Unfortunately, yeah.
Cousins was close, but not quite that guy, right? And I don't know if Malik Willis is that. Now, you put Malik Willis in Indianapolis, you put Malik Willis in Seattle, right? Like, they rolling. Slightly different offensive system, but they rolling, right? I don't know if Malik Willis is a drop back 40 times a game and sling it type guy, right? But
Mhm.
you took Matthew Stafford and put him in Minnesota, that offense ain't changing, right? It's just different color. But like, it's right. And so at the end of the season when Brosmer had to start again, and we won a game with 3 net yards passing, and I actually saw Connell call a game for a quarterback who's just not that kind of quarterback. I do have some hope he could actually change the way we call plays to help the quarterback grow. But we need to then improve the running game to give the quarterback something to lean on. The defense is good enough, right? But we need to help the quarterback with the running game a bit more. So,
You know, you put Matthew Stafford in Minnesota, I guarantee you, Justin Jefferson having 2,000 yards.
Easy.
He will have a 2,000
you know, season.
Yeah.
2,000 yard season.
Yeah.
But ain't Stafford got like, is he the quarterback who feeds these receivers these like?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
That's why I say that. Yeah,
Yeah. He's the guy. Yeah. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
I can dream. I can dream.
yeah. That ain't happening.
Yeah.
That ain't happening.
Yeah. It's not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen. You know, speaking of quarterbacks, you know, there's some quarterbacks I believe that are on the hot seat, man. You know, you look at you know the contract situation going on now with Pickens in Dallas. So, you know, it looks like Stephen Jones just said today that they're going to franchise tag him. He already said that. So that's going to happen. And so we expect that to be a blow up. But from the quarterback position, Dak Prescott, you know, you got paid all your money. You don't make the playoffs. You know, you had your standoff with Jerry Jones for your contract. You got your contract. Cowboys, great offense. You got your 2 receivers. You just signed your running back to an extension. He's going to be there long term. All right. We know you got defensive issues, but is Dak Prescott on the hot seat? What do you guys think? Like from that perspective, like can he really take his team to the next level, or you know can he rise? Let me put it like that. Can Dak Prescott rise, or is he on the hot seat, man? Doc, what's your take on that? You in Dallas?
Man, hey, I don't want to say he walking on water, but they don't blame Dak for this past season. They don't blame Dak for that.
Yeah.
No, so here's the big situation, right? They are paying a disproportionate amount of money on offense to relatively few players. It is very top heavy, right? You're paying Dak 60, CD like 35. If you're gonna have to pay Pickens at least 30, right? Like the agent's like, hey, we ain't even listening if there's a 20 at the beginning per year, right? Like it's gonna have to be at least 30. But so they're gonna have to cut, you know, Robin Peter to pay Paul. They gotta be efficient with the defense. Now with Christian Parker, I think they have an innovative young defensive guy. I think they're gonna scheme and get some players to fit his scheme. He's really good with teaching people and them understand what's going to go on. So I think the defense is going to be okay next year, probably top 10 to top 15 in 2 years, right? Which would be like the last year of Dak Prescott's contract. But they got to restructure his contract because he's going to be like $70 million against the cap this next season. So they're going to have to restructure it, sign in bonus, and kick that money on the books down the road. But yeah, I mean, they can't really be big in free agency because so much money is tied up on such a top heavy kind of way. But you can't trade Dak. You can't release Dak. So even if the seat hot, he's glued in. I mean, like you gotta deal with it. So
I don't think Dak is on the hot seat, and even if he was, I don't think he would be the quarterback at the top of that list. For one, Jerry likes him. Jerry likes Dak. Dak is a made man in Dallas with Jerry. So when you in Jerry's good graces, you're not going anywhere unless you have a precipitous drop in terms of your contributions to to the team. And Dak hasn't really shown a drop off.
Right.
So I think he's fine. I don't think he's on the hot seat. I think the quarterback I would put up there would be CJ Stroud.
Mm.
I think CJ. I think his seat is on fire.
Wow.
Okay, because you got a Super Bowl winning defense.
Yeah.
Well, a Super Bowl caliber defense,
Caliber, yeah.
hands down, right? And he played atrocious down the stretch.
Yeah.
And for the past couple of seasons, his play has tailed off. He hasn't shown. He showed flashes his rookie season, but ever since then, he hasn't been that same quarterback.
Yeah.
So now I think his 5th-year option is coming up, and normally by now, I mean, you would have heard, yeah, right. Let's get it done, but you're not hearing anything about that. So
That's a
I think CJ Stroud would be the guy. How many interceptions did he throw in that playoff game? Was it 4?
Was it 4? I think plus a fumble as well.
Plus a fumble? Yeah, man,
he had some turnovers in that game. Yeah.
He had a horrible game.
And the defense still had them in it.
Yep. And that's what I'm saying. Like if you had a Sam Donald type of right type of game, they probably would have found themselves going to the Super Bowl too.
Yeah.
Remember also, Davis Mills, as pedestrian as he was not turning the ball over.
Right.
5 touchdowns, 1 interception. I think they won like at least 3 games he started.
Yep.
So, I mean, the hot seat is extremely hot.
The way they're built in Houston is exactly like Doc said. Like they don't need a quarterback to save them. They just need the quarterback not to put them, get them behind the 8 ball.
Yep.
Yeah.
Just take care of the ball, make the plays that's there, and then let the defense handle the rest.
Yeah. So what do y'all think about Trevor Lawrence, man? I mean, like I know everybody had put Trevor Lawrence up there as this season, I think he proved himself this season. Yeah. He proved himself this season as okay. Yes.
Cohen proved him this season, yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Because other than that, because people was labeling him generational talent and all that. Right. But he proved something this season, I believe, to say, okay, we got something there. And Liam Cohen, definitely, I think had a lot to do with that, like you said.
Absolutely.
Yes. But as good as Trevor Lawrence looked, the schedule was going to be a little bit harder this year. And remember, Liam Cohen did not draft him. So if it ain't hot, but the warm is on. Right. And if he does not progress next season, if they have a really bad drop, they end up being 5-12 or 4-13 or something like that.
Yeah.
You may see them looking to draft in 2027 because there should be. I know we said this last year, but there should be some good quarterbacks coming out next year's draft. So
next year, so okay, all right. I'm gonna switch gears again. To this category, and that's coaches, being on the hot seat. And the name that keeps rising to the top, that everybody I think already knows, is Philadelphia Eagles head coach Nick Sirianni. Nick Sirianni is one of those guys. He's not an X's and O's guy. He don't, they say he got a offense. I don't know what that is, but I really don't know. But anyway, they say he was an offensive guy. I don't think he was ever an offensive guy. He don't know any defense, poking your head in the room, and Vic Fangio lock his door. Don't even come in here. Don't even come in here. This door locked. You don't have no say in here. And now in the off season, they go and get Sean Mannion, who again hadn't called any plays. However, in circles. What they're saying is very innovative, and then they also go and bring in as passing game coordinator the Tampa Bay Buccaneers offensive coordinator. Well, I can't remember his name.
Sean Marion,
No,
Not Sean Marion, Sean Mannion.
Mannion
He's
is
for
he came
off
from Green Bay,
Green
but
Bay. He's
yeah,
offensive coordinator for you guys now, right?
right. He's the offensive coordinator for us. But the Eagles also brought in the offensive coordinator from last year from Tampa Bay. He's the passing game
Grizzard,
coordinator.
Josh Grizzard.
Grizzard. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Mm.
So he's the passing game coordinator in that kind of scheme. He's called plays before. He knows the same kind of scheme that they ran in Green Bay. He's familiar with that. And so Nick Sirianni, man, is and I believe 100% is he can't have no 3-game losing streak. He can't have no 3-game losing streak. If he have a 3-game losing streak, I think
He out.
mid-season he's gone. He's
He's
gone.
out.
He's gone. So he is playing. I mean, he's going to be, and I can't even say coaching for his life because I don't know.
Yeah.
So he's there for his life right now. So he counting on Vic and Mannion to save him because the minute things go down, and I know the Eagles, and I know how he got this all set up.
You do.
He God forbid
How,
it's a
how
3-game
we
losing streak. He out.
how we
He
ready?
out.
I think how
Are
we
we ready? Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
He ready?
How he's been ready. So expectations high in Philly. How the fan base is. You know how we go. And if you have a
Right.
slow start, you're gone. That's all I got to
Right.
say on that.
Yep.
I don't see Nick getting past midseason with you guys. I don't see
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Same.
I mean,
Same.
and then and I think the story this week was everyone's talking about the whole AJ Brown thing, right?
Hmm. Yeah.
Which it's a thing, but not a thing. It's so
Yep.
weird
Yeah.
because it's not as if he's done anything flagrant,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
But there's this underlying tone of they're just not meshing internally,
Hmm. Hmm.
and Nick is like right at the center of all of that.
Yep.
Again, offensive, acumen aside, put that to the side. He was supposed to be this player's coach, right?
Right.
He was the guy
Yeah.
that connected with the players. They, you
Mhm.
know, galvanize everyone, get them together, and it's been the complete opposite of that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know if AJ is going to be there next season. Um, if I had a choice, and if I was the GM and it was like get rid of Nick or get rid of AJ, Nick would be the one that's gone.
Nick
Yep.
gone. Yeah.
Yeah, get rid
That's
of
an
Nick.
easy
Yeah,
pick.
get rid
Yeah.
of Nick, man.
Nick out of here.
Don't forget your offensive line coach Stoutland.
Stoutland is gone.
He retired too. So
Yeah. Yeah.
that running game that had some issues because of the lack of creativity
Mhm.
with the play calling last year. It's not going to be as stout as it typically is. So that's another blow to the
Yeah.
offense.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I definitely agree with that for sure. That's gonna be something that they definitely gonna have to figure out. But besides Philly, the only other coach that I saw when I was watching ESPN today, Aaron Glenn in New York.
Yeah.
I mean, Aaron Glenn. You coming over from Detroit, you got a good thing. Everybody want to be a head coach, so that was his trajectory. Had to be a head coach. And man, the Jets? Ah, boy, look, and I know I asked you guys this before. We jumped on, but how can you win with the Jets? I mean, I just don't get it. They fired our offensive coordinator, fired the defensive coordinator, and now he's on the hot seat after one season. I mean, shoot,
Links.
give me something.
Gerard Mayo had one season with the Patriots,
Yeah, yeah,
right?
yeah.
He had one season with the Patriots. That was it.
That's crazy.
I'm shocked that Aaron Glenn is still there, to be honest with you.
Really?
Right. And not it's not an indictment on him,
Right, right.
right? I just think the organization is so dysfunctional. I'm surprised that they had this level of patience to stick with him after the season they had last season.
Yeah. Yep. It is not, it is when you, the folks on top don't have a vision, but then get upset that things don't go the way they want it to go.
Yeah.
So let's change something, and this'll fix it. Right.
That don't ever work, man. That don't ever work.
You tell them that.
I mean, you would think they would figure this out after all these years. When was the last time the Jets had a winning season? I mean, that's
Sanchez?
a trivia question for you.
2012.
Mark Sanchez?
12.
Ooh.
See, because you know, and I would like to
2015.
2015.
10-6 with Todd Bowles.
Yeah, well, see, I mean, Todd Bowles, yeah,
Who is
That's a winning season, right?
Yeah.
that's a winning season.
The
yeah.
last time they actually made it to the playoffs was 2010.
Mm.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep.
Who was the coach
Oof.
in
Was
2010?
that Ryan?
Rex Ryan. Let's see. Who was the
Yeah,
coach?
Rex Ryan.
Rex
Yeah.
Ryan.
11-5
Wow.
AFC Championship game. Yep.
Wow.
Rexy.
You know, Rex really didn't care about that ownership, man. He was like, "Screw y'all, man. Whatever."
See, but that's the point.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's the point. And you need to have a coach that can supersede all of that dysfunction, have a big enough personality, a big enough ego, and not in a bad way, but an ego in that I know what I'm doing. This is my system. I'm gonna do it my way. Forget everything else, and then you can have the type of success that Rex had with the Jets. I mean, now looking back, my level of respect for Rex Ryan as a coach is like through the roof.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For him to be able to do that with that organization, man, like that's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah. He had Revis Island then, right, too? Revis,
Yeah, he had
was
Revis,
there.
right?
Yeah.
But these were guys
Mark
that he
Sanchez.
wanted. These were guys that he wanted.
That's right. Yeah.
They fit
Yeah,
his
he was
scheme,
building.
right?
Yeah, because he was operating as the GM also, because I think he had that power at that time. He was kind of GM head coach at that time, I believe.
I don't know. I know he had heavy influence on the personnel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's big. That's
But,
big.
but getting back to some of our discussions offline, where I was saying you need to have a coach who is so powerful. As Levi mentioned, like the ego, the bravado, they set the culture because the organization doesn't set it for the coach. So the coach to come in and write everything. But it's so hard to get that person because usually the established coach ain't going to the bad situation. Rex is one of those, gets the head coaching gig, flamboyant, doing all, but it worked, right? And since then, coach after coach after coach can't influence the culture enough to
Yeah.
And that was the problem with Robert Saleh. Heck of a coach,
Heck of a coach.
right?
Yeah.
Heck of a coach, but he acquiesced to the owner. He acquiesced to the culture. Like, oh, they want Aaron Rodgers. Oh,
Right.
okay.
Yeah.
They're gonna. Aaron Rodgers wants to bring in, he wants to bring in his guys,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And this is even before Devon. Like, I think I could see the player number 18 for the Packers back in the day. Forgot his name, but he was over the hill.
Randall Cobb, right?
Randall Cobb,
Yep.
right?
I'm in.
First year, right? Aaron Rodgers wanted Randall Cobb on the team. Randall Cobb, he was a decent player back in the day, but he couldn't. He wasn't going to be a major contributor to it. But they got him. They picked him up.
Yeah.
And then don't forget who the OC was, Nathaniel Hackett. Trash.
Yeah.
Trash. He didn't know what he was doing. So Robert Saleh wasn't set up for success, and he didn't have the type of personality to supersede all of that mess.
Yeah. That makes sense. Yeah, this is going to be Going to be interesting with these coaches in the next couple weeks. I know free agency starts March 11th, so we're gonna see some big movement going on. Combine
Mhm.
just started, and so we'll catch up on the combine, see what's going on there, see who's hot, what some of these 40 times look like, see the athleticism with some of these
That's
guys
all
and
everybody care about.
what's going
That's
on.
all everybody care about is the 40 time.
40
Stefanski,
times.
you
Yes,
run.
yes. Oh, before we jump off, I did hear something today where they said in Cleveland, Shador Sanders needs to be worried because, Cleveland is talking to all the quarterbacks. They got a bunch of quarterbacks on their list that they're going to be talking, any shock, any surprise there. What's going to happen with Dylan Gabriel?
I see Dylan Gabriel as the odd man out. He was definitely a what was the coach's
Stefanski.
name?
Stefanski.
Stefanski. That was a Stefanski. He was his guy.
Yeah.
Um, I do think they're going to do their due diligence on the quarterback side, but I would expect Sanders to be the day one starter next season.
Okay.
Does he stay the starter? Does he hold it like for the remainder? I don't know, but I would expect him to be the starter next season, come week one.
Yeah.
Realize that Monken did not draft Shador Sanders or
Right.
Dylan Gabriel.
I'm
he-
sorry. Wait. Sorry, Doc. My bad. I got to take all that back. I keep forgetting.
Thank you for running that back.
I got to take that back seriously because Watson's going to be healthy.
Watson is going to be back. That is true.
He's going to be healthy,
Yeah.
right? He's going to be healthy.
Okay.
I expect Watson to be the week one starter.
Watson. Okay.
Yeah.
And Shador the backup. Okay, I got
Yeah.
you. That's interesting. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, that leads to that begs the question, and I don't want to go down a rabbit hole, but that begs the question, is he even? He's been what, 3-4 years removed from 3 years actually playing.
I think it's
Two?
2 years. Yeah.
2 years actually playing meaning football.
Mhm.
Is he going to really? Is he going to do anything? I mean, even when he was playing, he wasn't doing anything. It wasn't like when, it wasn't like when he was
In
in Houston.
Houston.
I know you had all of these things going on, but I mean, it wasn't lighting it up, So I don't know. That I don't know.
If he has recovered from his injury, because I know Monken was like the OC with the Ravens, but I don't consider him this like uber progressive trying to light stuff up. So I
Right.
think he is a conservative offensive play caller, which sounds crazy. So I think you're gonna see this balanced game, running and passing. I think it'll utilize some of the athleticism that Watson has. And if they need to go to Shador, they'll call plays appropriate for Shador, right? So I don't think it's going to be dropping back 45 times a game slinging it, right? Because he ain't got Lamar. He ain't going to try to spread out and just have the guy run whenever stuff ain't open. But I take him to be like a no nonsense guy. So if you ain't producing, yeah, he ain't
Yeah.
he ain't putting up stuff.
Yeah. Well, maybe what happens is, he does come back. Watson plays. Shador's his backup. They release Dylan Gabriel, and then Stefanski pick him up as the backup in Atlanta, behind Penix.
Penix.
Penix come back, healthy,
Two lefties.
in time.
Is that two lefties on the same team?
Two lefties. So we'll see. We'll see. Remains to be seen.
God bless
Just
the
putting that
lefties.
putting
Lefties
that
are
out
awesome.
there.
Yeah. I just Todd Monken was just such an underwhelming hire.
Yeah.
I want to give him the benefit of the doubt. He's never been a head coach. We'll see, but going into this, I just don't see him being an upgrade from Stefanski.
Man, he old as dirt.
I
He got.
I'm not trying to
been
be an
around.
ageist with it. I don't
Right,
think age
right.
has
No,
anything
no.
to do with it. It
Yeah,
has nothing to do
I
with the
get it.
age. I'm just looking at his resume.
Yeah.
what he's done. Like he's had, like, go back to last season, and I get Lamar Jackson was hurt, right?
Yeah.
But he had a couple of seasons with Baltimore. How much of that was him, and how much of that was Lamar Jackson contributing to
Yeah.
the efficacy of that offense? And then everything that that was prior, before that, I didn't see it, like as Doc said, there was nothing that he's done that shows any sort of innovation that makes me like, whoa, I can't wait to see what he installs with this
Yeah.
Cleveland Browns team. Like,
Right.
I'm
Right.
not, I'm uninterested.
Yeah.
All
Yeah.
right. So yeah,
I think at best he's going to be the offensive version of
disinterested.
Zimmer,
Yeah.
right? A guy
Zimmer.
who has been a really good coordinator, rough around the edges, so just didn't get coaching gigs until finally someone's like, "Hey, let's take a flyer on him." Comes in, I think he'll be good. 9, 8, 10, and 7, 11, and 6, right? But you're dealing with the Steelers, you're dealing with the Bengals if they can get healthy, right? And we'll see what happens in Baltimore now. But
Yeah.
but yeah,
Yeah, that too. I mean,
right. That like
Yeah.
these
Yeah.
these
that's a tough
coaching
division.
moves were weird,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah.
Like,
I don't understand it. Yeah. I don't get them. I don't get
No,
them.
it's a copycat league, right? You get Vrabel in his first year and McDonald in his second year. We need to change and get some new person, right? Fresh blood, and see what happens, right?
Yeah.
And yet still, you notice like I felt like half the coaches just moved to another team.
yeah, musical
Mm-hmm.
chairs.
Musical
That was it.
chairs.
Yep.
Yep,
Yeah,
Yep.
that's the Vrabel part, right? I work for Vrabel, so we need to do it. We need to do it too.
it's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Well, yeah, we got some time. We got some time. We'll see what moves going to be made over the next couple of weeks, man. So, all
yeah,
right. All right,
the,
fellas. Well, yeah.
I am looking forward to talking about the combine. Not even so
Yeah.
much like what players did what, but like how the combine should be used by teams and how
Yeah,
some teams use the combine. You
Mm,
know,
that's interesting.
and yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Okay. Yeah. We'll definitely get into that one, man. I like that. I like
All
that.
right.
All right, fellas.
All right.
All right, man.
Cool.
Yep.
Have a good one.